So on behalf of the Black female landscape and nature photographers, we would like to thank you guys for joining with us in this conversation, panel discussion on tripods. There's a lot, it's not really a whole lot to tripods, but tripods are just as important as a camera. And a lot of people don't really realize that. So they go out to get the cheapest tripod, and next thing you know, they got to upgrade it because it's not actually doing what we thought it should do. So just keep that in mind, that a tripod is just as important as your camera. So you might find out that some of us have more tripods than what we need, but they all serve a purpose. So Angela, how many tripods you have?
Well, before we get there, let's introduce everybody before we put me out there.
All right, my name is Keisha Holmes. I am the co-founder of Black Female Landscape and Nature Photographers, and I currently live in Fredericksburg, Virginia.
I'm Angela Ledyard, and I am also co-founder with Black Female Landscape and Nature Photographers, and I reside in San Diego, California. Originally from Cleveland, Ohio, so two different extremes. All right, Melanie.
I'm Melanie, and I'm living in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I am just beginning out with photography.
All right, and Akira.
And same, I'm Akira Rice. I'm basically a beginner, and I live in Chicago, Illinois.
Ooh, another cold spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tripods, as Keisha was mentioning, and put me out there as far as how many tripods that I have. Well, for sake of this conversation, I have two behind me, and this one. My
Wow.
big baby right here. Mel and Akira, have you, either of you, bought a tripod yet?
I have not.
Okay,
I have one. The brand, I cannot think of the name right now.
that's okay.
Starts with an M.
Okay, Manfrotto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, Keisha, back to you. How many do you have, and what? And tell us about them.
I have 4 or 5 tripods, but I'm only going to show you guys maybe 3 because one I don't use. My other one is like 6.5 feet tall, so I'm not going to show you that one. But I have this little tiny one, and it's real tiny. I use this sometimes.
What brand is it?
This is a carbon fiber tripod. Is by Leofoto, and it's super small, you can see. And I find that it does hold like my camera with maybe a 24-70 on it, because I think the 70-200 is too big for it, kind of falls over. I like this tripod, even though it's kind of tiny, because sometimes I don't always want to take a big tripod, and it still kind of holds up, you know, for what I needed to do. And then I have this Really Right Stuff tripod. This comes out to maybe about 5 feet tall.
Wow.
One of the good things about this tripod is that it has the ball head already in it, attached to it. So it closes down like super, super small. It also is so, like the bottom of it is like super small that it's like the size of a water bottle. It just fits right in with, like in your backpack, like on the side of the backpack. I kind of don't like it.
Why?
It's also a carbon fiber, but I kind of don't like it. I don't like it because I don't like tripods that have these clamp things on them. And the reason why I don't like that is because when you're out in the water, like in the ocean, you get sand and stuff, it gets in there. And it's hard to take this apart and try to clean it. So sometimes I hear all this crunchy stuff down because I didn't clean it right. But this tripod, I actually like this one better because it's like my small.
Which one is that one?
This one is a Really Right Stuff tripod. I'm not sure of the name, but it's supposed to be a travel tripod. I don't know the number of it right now. I'm gonna have to probably put that in the.
So you prefer the Really Right Stuff tripods?
Not necessarily the name of the tripod. I prefer the twist legs, because this tripod, I can fully take every one of these legs out.
Oh,
They totally come apart, and I can actually clean that. Whereas the other tripod, I can't really take it apart because it has these screws on it. So it's kind of difficult to do. This is also a carbon fiber tripod. So the carbon fiber tripods versus the aluminum are a little bit lighter. I was told that they don't really get that cold, but they do. So because this tripod gets cold, I put some handlebar tape around it. So when I'm holding it, if I'm out in the cold and I'm holding it, my hands, won't get as cold. But this is a pretty good tripod. I've been having it for like, I don't know, a few years now. But the difference between this tripod and this tripod is the ball head is already integrated into this one. This tripod, the ball head comes off, and it's still a compact tripod. You can go in my suitcase. So, but and then I have another tripod that's a carbon fiber, and that one is by Pro Media Gear, and that one is like super big. I don't ever use it ever. So somebody want to buy it, you can buy it.
I might have to look and see.
Got one on sale.
So with the tripod, the one that's in your hand right now, what do you find as far as the uses that it best fit for you?
Honestly, this is my go-to tripod for everything, except for when I'm traveling. It depends on where I'm going. I normally keep this in my vehicle. And then this one right here, if I'm really, really trying to keep, save weight, I'll use this one because, like I said, the ball head is already integrated in here. But I don't really like it. I really don't like center columns either. I don't like the center columns. I don't like this tripod.
So as far like you had mentioned earlier with your small travel one, with it being light, and you're using a 24 to 70, which one of your tripods do you use for your 70 to 200 or any of your longer? Okay.
This one. I use this tripod maybe 90% of the time. I use this one even when I travel, because this tripod right here, this one right here, I was telling you guys, it's like the size of a water bottle. This is a super small tripod, but it gets about 5 feet tall, maybe a little bit taller than 5 feet. And it's supposed to be much lighter. This one right here, even though it looks bigger, it's lighter than this one.
Oh.
And The only thing about this one is that it's just a little bit longer because I got this ball head on it. But I use this one the most.
So when you were looking, so when you were searching for, so basically from what you're saying right now with the tripods that you're showing, the needs are not one tripod fits all.
No, because I also found out that with this tripod, the Really Right Stuff tripod, when it's fully out and the legs are out and I have the camera on, I'm like right here to my, like right between my nose and my eye. And then there are some times where you might want to get higher. You know, you might be standing on a rock or something like that. That's where the other tripod come in at, but I don't ever use that one. So this one, there is no one tripod that fits all. That's probably why I got so many of them. But I try to make do with this one.
All right. So when you go back to your beginner days, and when you were, first getting started with your tripod, what was your biggest concern?
Actually, in my beginner days, I never wanted to use a tripod. I just thought it was just some extra stuff I got to lug around. I really never wanted to use a tripod. So I went out and I bought a cheap tripod and realized that if you're doing long exposures and the wind is blowing and your tripod is not sturdy enough, you just defeating the purpose. So I just decided to go ahead and just invest in a good tripod. So it's just as important to me as the camera. But another thing about this tripod is that the feet come off, and I can put in some spikes at the bottom of the feet right here. I put in like some spikes if I'm on some sand or something like that. So that kind of helps a little bit.
So when you fly, is that the one that you take?
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, I'll put it in, it fit in my suitcase. So I'll just put it in my suitcase, and so far nobody stole it. So, but like I said, this one right here, it's not a bad tripod, and it's, like I said, it's really small, but it's just too much going on with it.
Browning.
Yeah, it's too much going on with it for me.
So I'm gonna jump off with my ones. So this one here, this is a Joby. This is a Gorilla Pod. So kind of looking totally different from what Keisha has. And I have quite a few tripods because I have different needs. So this one, I was traveling a lot with this one, as opposed to taking my large Manfrotto. And my Manfrotto tripod, this one here is 5 pounds by itself. Okay. And for me, and Keisha had kind of mentioned as far as with the clamps and cleaning, one of the things for this, which made a difference for me, it has the hex screws right here. So I can unscrew it and take it off and clean. Because with me being where I am, lots of times this gets into the sand. And when you're hearing that irritating crunchy noise, that's because the sand has gotten kind of mixed in with in between the legs of the tripod. Also, another thing that, as Keisha, I had also mentioned with hers, this tripod, it is heavier, it's aluminum, but it has the rubber handles on 2 of the legs. So that was something because I'm not always in a warm climate. So having to have something where I can put my bare hands on was important. Another feature also for me, I'm 5'3", and this tripod can stand much taller than me. So for those situations where I have used it like that, then the question is, how can you see your camera? Well, with the camera that I use, it has a tilt screen. So that helps. And you can also, depending upon certain cameras, You can, I can also control my camera with my cell phone. So that also helps. The other thing about with this tripod, and it has the removable ball head as well. The thing with this being heavy, it's sturdy, which is also an important feature. It has where you can hang, put something to hang here on the side or also down in the middle. And I also like for tripods to be able to not be your standard tripod type of stands like the one that I have here, but where I can get in angles where I might need to adjust the legs. There's plenty of times I might be squeezed in someplace and I'm like, okay, let me take the tripod and if I can affix it this way on a tree and get some steadiness where, and I can take the picture, especially if I need something that's a long exposure. So I can do that with all three of these tripods. Okay, see how I just like how you can just move this, right? Back to this one, your legs, being able to have some flexibility with your legs. With this one, I can take and hit the clamp, and you can pretty much with the same ones what Keisha has, and take the legs where they open extreme, like out, or turn the tripod, open the legs and you can have things upside down. So it gives you the ability to see things in a different light or a different perspective. And also with this one, which this is challenging me for me to do it from a table, but I can take it and bring it out. Let's see if I can do it from this way. There we go. Okay, let me bring it down. So I can take it and have it this way. So I also have the ability to utilize it where, let's say if I want to do some macro photography, okay, I can have those different angles, and I also utilize it so when I'm doing some food photography as well. As far as with traveling, like I had mentioned earlier, it's 5 pounds. Do I travel with it? Yeah. Why do I travel with it? There's a couple reasons. I like to be able to keep in mind that when I'm out, if something comes up or a situation comes up, how can I defend myself? This one is 5 pounds. So, and it's aluminum, right? So depending on how I'm walking, this can be a nice, beautiful bat, right? So that's one of the things. And most of the time when I'm traveling, I'm using my zoom lens on certain areas. So you need to have something steady. Same as far as like with Keisha, this one is aluminum, carbon. And I got this one to be my travel tripod as well. Do I travel with both? Yeah, I do. And this one is a Benro, and it also, has the screw legs and can change the speed and all of that. So there we go. Questions? Y'all gonna be like, okay, Amazon.com. But let's talk about, like, you both mentioned that you're beginners. And the bottom line is to, when you're having your gear and you're just starting out, to understand, well, what am I going to be taking pictures of? Right? So if you're, and I think Melanie kind of, when we were talking earlier, you said something to the effect of liking to take pictures of things that are moving.
Yes. Animals. Yes.
So there may be where you want to have the camera and be able to pan. So, you know, if you're doing long exposures and things of that nature, you got to have a steady
Tripod.
tripod. Can you function without one?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
there's been plenty of times I've set the camera down on a bench or a rock,
Mhm.
you know, something that I can just, and I use like a scarf or something I had on to help prop it up.
Mhm.
But yeah, you know, so there's so many different varieties, but it all goes down to as far as what you want to do,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Tripods allow you to, like, if you're doing, like she mentioned, the long exposures, it allows you to use a slower shutter speed, because when you use a faster shutter speed, freezes the motion and freezes the action. So that kind of compensates for your hand movement when you're taking a photo. So if you're doing like long exposures or something that requires a longer shutter speed, then that's where the tripods come in handy at.
Mhm.
Things that's kind of hard to do hand. So that's why I say they're just as important as a camera, because I like long exposure. I love it. And it's hard to do a 2 minute long exposure holding it, you know. So I had to invest in the tripod, because trust me, I was trying not to get one. You know,
And also with, you know, the type of tripod, when you mentioned long exposure, if you have a tripod and it doesn't have a good quality design to it, you may have the weight of your camera, and that tripod and that camera may start sinking down.
yeah. Yeah, I did that when I was somewhere and I was in some water, and it just kept sinking down in the like the water in the dirt. I was like, no, I can't do this. It kept sinking because it wasn't sturdy enough, and that's when I ended up, you know, getting some spikes for the bottom of it, so I can have something to clamp onto.
Mhm.
All right. Any questions?
Where did you get the spikes from? Because that would have never crossed my mind.
I know with mine came with the spikes came with mine.
Okay, well, with the really nice stuff, it didn't. But you can go on Amazon sells them. I did buy some aftermarket or a different brand from Amazon, and they still fit the bottom of it. As a matter of fact, the ones I got fit that tripod and this little tiny one. Even though I've never used spikes on this little thing. But yeah. So you can get
Amazon.
there's all kinds of stuff you can get for tripods, actually.
Tripod spikes.
You know, like she was mentioning, like this tripod right here, she had mentioned the center part has, you can see through there, it has a hook. So that's another thing that you can do if it's not grounded enough and it's moving or whatever. So you can hook your backpack or your camera bag or sandbag or something to help keep it
Anchored,
from moving around. And I also like tripods, like she mentioned, that goes low to the ground. So all the tripods that I buy, they go like super low to the ground. So it gets like low, like maybe a few inches off the ground if you want to get a different perspective, different look, because you know sometimes you don't always want to get that eye level looking shot. So
yeah, so keep that in mind. But you know, we want to challenge you this weekend, you know, to take some pics with your tripod, or you know, or to get out there and see about long exposures, you know, test yourself with what you have so that
Right.
you can kind of determine what may or may not fit your needs. You know,
Right.
because that's the thing about when you're starting out, you know, no one wants to jump and go, okay, I'm gonna go spend $300 on a tripod, you know. So that's why, you know, we want to let you know what's out there, but also,
Mhm.
you know, what with what you have, you know, do you need to clean it? Yes. Do you need to be aware of where you're putting it? If there's sand, but Chicago, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about the sand right now, but you have to know. So, but yeah, we just want to kind of just chime in, talk a little bit and show as far as, you know, that there are some different type of tripods, but again, to challenge you to use a tripod that you have, take it, do different levels with it. Don't always have it at eye level, bring it low, take it high, change the side, open the legs. So that's your challenge for this weekend. And we will look forward to you posting it in our Facebook group. Any questions?
No problem. We'll
I have no
try.
questions.
Do you primarily get your equipment from Amazon or just in your? That's all I have.
Mine is from the local camera store, but I do, there's B&H Photo, there's Autorama. So there are times where I will buy from those two camera stores online. B&H Photo, I think they're out of New York, but they're great camera supply companies.
I've heard of them. Okay.
I don't always go to Amazon.
And another thing is, don't be afraid to buy something used.
Mhm.
You can get
Yeah.
a secondhand tripod from like
Yeah, I mean, even the thrift stores, I found some nice
Yeah.
tripods in the thrift stores.
NPP. I think Adorama and B&H Photo both have a used section. So try those first for any of your gear. Try those first. You don't have to run out and go buy a $300-$400 tripod, $200 tripod, you know. But I will tell you, if you're gonna spend, don't spend $20 on one.
But thank you all for joining us for this our informal discussion on tripods, just to kind of get some information and kind of share that there are so many different types out there, but to also challenge you to get out and take pictures with what you currently have, and to utilize what may be around you. So with that, I'm going to bring this to a close. We have our Facebook group, so feel free to, you know, hit us if you have any additional questions that you didn't think of on there. And to those that are watching, we thank you all for watching this informal discussion on tripods. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow our YouTube channel. Check out our website. And on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out.
Bye, you guys.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you all. Bye.